There's some pretty crazy tidal rips going on.
Oh, well, just for something completely different, I thought I'd just pull all the tools out of the cupboard again.
Bad boy in his room trying to get high. Kiss the girls, don't make them cry. Look at him sitting on the seafloor. Doesn't wanna live in his skin no more. I thought I lost myself. I never understood me very well. Once I met a girl.
So I went to replace the busted impeller with a new impeller. So the new impeller was the wrong size. So we replaced it with a fixed busted impeller. But it seems to be working out alright. So once we get into town in a few more days, I'll just order another one. Actually, you know what? It's a Jabsco impeller. I should be able to go with the old one in hand to any chandlery and just pluck one off the shelf. Just make sure it all matches up in size. And then I guess we'll pull it out and replace it with a new one, Pascale.
Yep. But it was a big success this morning.
Well, yeah.
For you it was.
The engine works fine. You had a big success today, didn't you? You made 2 movies, or finished off 2 episodes?
Not quite.
Not quite.
Anyway, we're sailing slowly.
Yeah, we're not in a hurry to get to Solway Passage. We've still got a little bit of time till the tide turns. So if you're not in a hurry, why wouldn't you sail? And we're just sailing with just the head sail as well, because we're going to turn the corner and ride the northerly south. So there's no point even putting up a mainsail at the moment.
Yep, so the plan is to go to Solway Passage, and with the tide flooding, we'll go through it, and then we will go to your beach, the beach that you have dubbed Bum Scrub Bay.
Bum Scrub Bay, even though with our anti-foul it won't be necessary. So the thing with the Whitsundays here, in passages that go north-south, they flood from north going south, and vice versa. When they ebb, they go from the south to the north. So all morning it's been an ebbing tide, and pretty soon it's going to switch, and we'll ride that flood tide south. We don't have far to go.
We've got some seed crackers on the go to have with our pate.
Might even just quickly adjust our solar panels to grab that sun even better.
Just lift them up slightly?
Yeah, just get that even better angle. I'm pretty happy with this. So some fairly thin but strong cord. I've got a rolling hitch here, so I could adjust the length of it relatively easily. But really, when we're adjusting the slant of the actual panels themselves, then I just run a shark clip, or the same clips that they use on tuna long lines, so they really hang on. You know, they're strong. I just use those up and down our backstays to just determine the angle that we want to get the best aspect on our panels. And so far, every time we look at the voltage of our system now, it's about 14.5 volts. So
loving life.
Yeah, even it wasn't as much as what we expected, and all that really meant is that we shelled out a few more clams than necessary for a much larger controller.
So we're just coming up to the pass now, and there's some pretty crazy tidal rips going on. Behind me is Chalky's Beach, and in front of me is the infamous Whitehaven Beach with a lot of tourist boats on it right now.
This isn't the crazy part, this is almost slack tide. We've got a couple of minutes till the turn of the tide and it goes the other way. So at the peak spring tides, this place just, woo, whirlpools, you name it.
There's nothing changing except that I am 18. Man, it really aches in my heart. Looking all around me, not so much to see. Just a bunch of factors playing the parts. When the movie's over, searching for a cover, trying to hide from others who we are. And if you for somebody, you cannot everybody. Like walking with a cactus. the time burns out. That beauty is something no one really cares about.
We're going into town, aren't we?
Yeah.
So,
A couple of things to do before my family comes.
but it's such a nice day for a sail that we should really be sailing rather than doing anything else.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, like I was saying that the Whitsundays is, you know, some of the best sailing in the world. I'd agree. You know, maybe not the sailing, because the wind comes from everywhere, but the actual grounds themselves, like, it's challenging, it's beautiful, it's warm. Apparently there's some fish around.
Come on, we're hungry. I'll just show you the fridge situation at the moment. Troy's got a little bit of anxiety about it. Very empty. Yeah, it's really rusty too. Very empty. We've got like half a lime and some curry.
Oh, well, just for something completely different, I thought I'd just pull all the tools out of the cupboard again. No, what the story here is underneath our V-berth, we've got our primary water tank, 180 litres or some such thing like that. And then behind the water tank you have these lockers here. So where this forward bulkhead of this locker and the water tank meet, the water's actually been coming up and using hydraulic pressure and slamming into this, and it's made a little crack. So each time it sloshes around, just a tiny bit of water gets in and seeps down into these lockers. It makes it quite humid, and in rough conditions, and if we're heeled over, it can actually fill up the locker to about this deep in fresh water at the bottom, which is not as bad as salt water, but still pretty bad. So the best solution I can really come up with is, I mean, it looks like this is a problem that's lasted for a little while, because previously there's been Sikaflex and things like that used on there, but it's never going to work. So we actually have to cut the top out, and then I'm going to secure a lip using timber, get in there, really glass this up on the other side. So I'm going to use some double bias glass and some epoxy resin. Use the opportunity to clean out the water tank as well, and then see if that works. So where the bulkhead comes up and the top of the tank, I'm going to put a nice fillet of thickened epoxy in there, and then we'll run some of that double bias glass that we've got, that nice strong fiberglass. We'll put that in there, so I'll have quite a big sheet first, and then slightly smaller, and then smaller again. And that way what we won't have is just a hard edge to the fiberglass where stresses might accumulate and cause future problems. I'm going to use one of these multi-tools or renovators, whatever you like to call it. I find they're really effective, and unlike an angle grinder or some other thing, they don't generate a lot of dust, and that's kind of important when you're working inside your home. The only problem with this little tool, and it's one that I'm willing to put up with just because it's quite clean, is it's slow. That's all right. It is a bit noisy, but any power tool would be. And the other thing is, it only cuts in straight lines. So these other ones, I need to, where it comes into the corners, they need to be radiused.
Yeah.
All right. We don't want hard corners where we've made our cut. So I'm going to have to cut them into a roundy.
So using the jigsaw to cut the curves.
The jigsaw, lots of different blades in the jigsaw. So this is sort of like replicating a scroll saw. It's quite thin, good at going around corners. 14 teeth per inch. So, you know, it's a nice mix between aggressive cut and a nice fine cut. Pretty easy to control. Nice little blade.
It's off.
Do we even want to reuse this?
No.
This looks a little bit like Marula's previously had a repair job.
Yeah.
Not a great repair job. It's like it's had a point injury. Punch that in a bit, and then that's just solidified epoxy. They've sort of jammed it in there. The tank itself is remarkably clean.
Oh yeah, I thought it would be way scungier than that.
No, it's a pretty clean tank. All right, Pascale. So I'm gonna spend a pretty hard day grinding the hell out of our forecastle. So what do you think we need to do?
I am clearing everything out of there.
That's right.
So I've just started with the linen, the bedding, that's going under the table. Then we're going to drop this table down, lay the mattresses on it, and then put our clothes in plastic bags and put them on top.
Yep. Oh, this is total teamwork. So you pull stuff apart, and I've got a range of things ready for.
Yeah, I put stuff away and just make sure that nothing gets damaged or filled with fiberglass dust.
Every color under the sun, in time you'll find that you just have.
Alright, so I'm feeling fairly well protected up top, and these are the next bit of gear here. Disposable overalls, but I need to get everything just ready, because once I'm in all of this stuff, I'm in it, you know, so I'll need to do the hours that I need to spend. I'll try and all do it in one big hit.
Many different kinds, and many different places, many different times, and many different faces, many different varieties, many people in society. There's many different opinions on the way to do things, many songs to sing.
Get a look into the future, a vision of you going grey. Oh wow, top deck.
Well, this has been a morning to remember. As you saw, we ground all of this back. So when I put the lip in here and I put that back, I will be able to resin it. There'll be a lip under here and it'll be glued, and then it will be glassed on top. So I had to get back to this raw glass so it can bond to that. Probably would bond really well to the paint, but if the paint is not bonded to the glass, it would just lift off and it wouldn't be as strong as it could be. All of this was sort of in a pretty scabby old state as well. So what I'm actually going to do is, when it comes, before we put the lid back on, obviously I'm going to repair the leak from this side, but I'm also going to just glass a couple of these bits on there as well, and just put a nice cove and maybe, you know, a bit of reinforcing fiberglass under there. And that means when that lid goes back on, there's a nice big surface area for it to glue onto and be quite solid. Because when it was built, it was just sort of, when they put it in, they must have gone through the inspection hatch and someone's just kind of reached under there without looking and just sort of spooged it in there, and it wasn't the greatest job in the world. So I might actually, this is fiberglass that my friend Torrin, he laid up like big sheets of this stuff because he finds it quite useful in his work as a fiberglasser. So he's just, you know, got a big area on top of some plastic with some release aid on it, resin, glass, resin, glass, resin, glass, and he makes up quite big sheets, and I'll cut these to size. So these are going to be the lips that I'm going to use all around, and also just build up the top of that, so when that gets glued onto it, it's got a nice big surface area to stick. Okay, so got these cut up. These are the pre-formed bits of glass, so all glass laid out on plastic, soaked with resin, made a sheet, and then I've cut them out into this stuff. And now I've got a bit of thickened epoxy. because it's getting so warm now, really have to just pump a small amount of epoxy into a large space like this and really spread it out. Otherwise it heats up and goes off in, you know, like 5 minutes. So just keeping it really spread out in a large container here, and you know, it remains workable for some time. And I've used a slow hardener with this one as well. So it's just a case of smearing on our thickened epoxy. So I've just thickened that with some Pascale before. We can't get a lot done today. I've just got to get these lips on, really.
Yeah, well, it's just, that's the thing with epoxy, isn't it? It's got to hurry up and wait.
Ooh, hurry up and wait. Where'd you pick that up from, Dar?
I don't know.
Hey?
Some rough character.
Some, definitely. Ooh, that's right. Alright, and we'll see what else we've got in this bag of tricks. Got a few little clamps here just to hold it.
That's from your friend?
Yeah, so Torrin offered me the use of all these clamps, which was very generous, as well as everything else. And,
yeah, they look good. They look very handy.
You can't have enough clamps here, but when you're yachting around, you just don't have all this stuff. So it's really nice to have a friend with a workshop.
Yeah.
And a generous character. So. Scrape the excess off because I don't want any lumps here. I want that to be a nice flat surface, and so when this is laid back on there, it will catch it, and then when I put resin down in between this gap here, you know, it's got the resin won't just fall through. It'll spread out on that lip, and I'll be able to go over it nicely. And then of course the real strength will be when we lay the glass up over the top. Okay, so today we've got the lips sort of glass glued in. They're pretty strong. So today I'm actually going to put thickened epoxy in the crack, and then I'm going to top it off with some tape. And I'm going to use this this glass tape just because it's easy to wet up and roll up, and then because I'll be working upside down, I'll be able to actually just put it in already wet and then use the roller and consolidate it.
Yeah.
So I've got two different widths of glass. Okay, so I'll put a narrow one in first, and then I'll top it with the wider one. So I'll have 2 layers of glass, but again, it won't be 2 layers one on top of each other. It'll be a skinny one, then a wider one, and then we'll get some tapering effect. So anything to stop like an abrupt change which causes stress points to develop. In the course of time, these actually had come away from the lid, and so that's what gave it. The water had something for it to act on to actually try and lift it away from here. This hard line here is actually where the water was seeping up. It was coming up through here. So once all this cures, and I do have to do a rough sand, and I'll give this a wash down with TSP. And we're going to head out to the wholesale paint place and get
See our mate Stuart.
See our mate Stuart and get some get like a barrier paint. All right, to reseal this. You have a food grade epoxy paint. We'll reseal it, and then we'll go and muck around with your family, and we'll let this air out. So when we come back, all we have to do is put some glue on, some glass on, and that'll be pretty much it, Pascale. We'll do it all up, and then it just all of this just needs to be painted to make it look aesthetic then. So
thank you for tuning into Free Range Sailing. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, as it really helps get our video out to more viewers. If you'd like to keep track of us in real time, there is links in the description to our Facebook and Instagram page, as well as loads of other great information that you might find useful.